entrepreneur is known around the world as Chef Jeff. Chef Jeff Henderson is an award-winning American chef, critically acclaimed New York Times bestselling author, philanthropist, television personality, and a highly sought-after leader in personal and professional development. Known for his dynamic teachings and powerful story of personal transformation, Chef Jeff illuminates audiences with proven, high-impact strategies that empower change, inspire fulfillment, and motivate millions to live the lives of their dreams. A California native, Chef Jeff started his illustrious culinary career in the unlikeliest of places, federal prison. While serving nearly 10 years, he would discover a previously untapped passion for the art of cooking. Using prison as a catalyst for self-transformation, he would be released in 1996 and work his way up from a dishwasher to a cook under the tutelage of Chef Robert Gadsby. When Chef Jeff is not traveling the world teaching his life-changing lessons or working with at-risk youth through his nonprofit Chef Jeff Project, he resides here in Las Vegas with his wife Stacy, who's my selfie bestie, by the way, and their 5 children. Please join me in welcoming Chef Jeff Henderson.
Great afternoon, everyone. Great afternoon. Come on, you guys. Great afternoon. Today's a great day. It's a blessed day because we survived. We made it, right? We beat the odds, the naysayers, the dream crushers, and we made it here today. You know, it's difficult sometimes hearing allocates about yourself. And so even though I've done television, I've written books, and I've been blessed with an extraordinary life after incarceration, I'm here today just as a homeboy. Somebody who found the courage to change his life in a very dark place was prison. And so sometimes during that dark moment in your life is a miracle waiting. And as a 58-year-old man, I never thought that one day I would say that prison saved my life, that dark moment saved my life. And so the power word today is a couple. Courage and value systems. Right? It takes courage to change. It takes courage to fight and beat those addictions. I never had a drug addiction. I was on the other side. I was a seller. And when I look at you all who have had those drug addictions and people in my family, in my neighborhood, when I was doing my most harm in the 1980s during the war on drugs, and to have lived to tell the story about it, I understand as a father and a grandfather the damage that drugs do to us and our community, and how that impacts our legacy, how it impacts our children, and how that cycle of drug addiction and incarceration and criminal culture continues on. I remember sitting in my cell at Terminal Island Federal Prison, the age of 23 years old. And I blamed everyone. I was frustrated. It was everybody's fault but my fault while I was in prison. I was a blamer. I didn't hold myself accountable. And it wasn't until I began to be mentored and begin to read books. And it was like, and I don't want to sound cliche, you know, where a lot of folks in prison, you know, they find God, they find that spiritual healing, but we all know the real test comes once you're out. And so a miracle happened for me when I was in prison. As a young boy who grew up in South Central LA in San Diego, whose mother struggled to raise my sister and I. As a young boy who had to watch my mother in multiple relationships, and we begin to ask ourselves, what drives criminal culture? What drives addiction? None of you was born criminal. None of you were born with the ideology that I have to take, steal, lie, and cheat to live your own version of the American dream. And so what drove my criminal was a desire to help put food on the table, right? So addictions are driven from something. And I had a criminal addiction at a young age, which led to that incarceration period. But during that moment in prison, I had to dig deep to find that courage. Like you all have found that courage to be a part of this program. You have found the courage to make a difference in your life. And it's never too late. It's never too late to make that change in your life. So to be here to share a little bit of my story, I want you to continue that courage and continue to look deep at the things that you value. It wasn't until I was released from prison when I really began to shift my value systems, because value systems are directly linked to poor choices. It's directly linked to the behavior patterns that we embrace out there. And so you guys have a bright future. I walked out of prison 26 years ago, and I came to this town 20 years ago. And they told me that I wouldn't get a job in this town being a convicted felon. And I started at Mandalay Bay, working my way down the strip. And everybody turned me down, every casino, every hotel I went to, except Caesar's Palace. And I didn't want to work at Caesar's because I had a long history at Caesar's back in the 80s when they catered to the underworld. They catered to criminal culture to some degree. And I just didn't feel comfortable. It's almost like having a drug addiction and you go around people and they're getting high, and then you start having those relapse thought processes. And that's what happened with me at Caesar's. But it was Caesar's that gave me a second chance and allowed me to come into that organization and fulfill my dream to become a chef. And I became the first African-American executive chef running multi-million-dollar restaurants. And I never listened to the naysayers, right? I still hustled every day. I was still a grinder. I understand that success is a marathon. Rome wasn't built overnight. It takes time to change. Change is hard. Having courage is hard. But you all have started that process. And today is your day. My day is every day. I'm a work in progress. Everyone's a work in progress. And so when you connect resiliency to your life and you understand that people who are resilient are the ones who get to win. And every day I wake up, I thank God that I can put my 2 feet on the floor. Because you all know as well as I know, a lot of our homeboys and homegirls didn't make it. We blessed to be sitting in this police department, alive, with potential, with opportunities, with people around you in this room who are here to support you and to cheer you on in your life. Think about your children. Think about your legacy. What will people remember you by? As a drug addict, as a criminal, as a formerly incarcerated person? No. We all have an opportunity to change our story, to rewrite our legacy. And that's what I've been working on. Because for me, it's about my children. It's about my community. It's about paying it forward. So my children, when they tell their story, their father, we can erase that criminal piece. And they can talk about the accomplishments that their father made. So think about your children. Think about your grandchildren. Think about your loved ones who are in heaven that's looking down right now. I don't care who you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. You could come out through tunnels, out of the north side, the west side, LA, no matter where you came from. God gave us all a gift. This is real talk right here. God gave us all a gift. And what a gift is the one thing, that you do extremely well at a high level. That's what separates the have from the have-nots, is knowing that gift, knowing yourself, knowing what your capabilities are. And in that dark period, that time when we're kind of down, that's when that's revealed. And so for me, being a chef, a cook, a dishwasher, and now I run a nonprofit, where right now I'm fixing my wrong, right? By supporting the little homies who watched us get high, who watched us commit crimes, we influence a generation. And so we gotta fix that. We gotta repair that damage by repairing ourselves. And so our school is over in North Las Vegas, a little 1,200 square foot hole in the wall. Very small but mighty, where we're working with system impacted young people. Young people who come into our school from 9 years age and up, who came from adverse childhood experience. Many of them have been sexually, mentally, physically abused. Many of these young children that we work with in North Las Vegas was born addicted to drugs. Many of the boys, 99.9 of the young men in our program are fatherless. Their fathers are in prison, their fathers don't claim them, and so they have a mother who's playing both of those roles, who's following in our footsteps. So I want to leave you with this. When you graduate today and you go back out there in the world, rewrite your legacy. Go out there and be great. Go out there and change your narrative and make a difference in somebody else's life. So I want to say God bless you guys. I'm proud of you. And when you guys wrap up today, you guys look me up, and I got a great meal for you guys on the house when you make your way to my kitchen. All right?